blood vessels become very stiff, which means that they become very hard, or they become hardened, and they become less flexible. And if they become less flexible, we call this condition atherosclerosis. And this is the time where it can cause hypertension, because there will be reduced blood flow. If there is reduced blood flow within my system, it can lead to hypertension, and this hypertension will result to stroke. If not stroke, it results to other health conditions, or it results to other health conditions in the system. So age is one of the risk factors that can predispose us to cardiovascular disease. Age is one of the risk factors that can predispose us to cardiovascular diseases. Now let's talk about obesity. How can obesity also predispose us to cardiovascular diseases as individual? Last week we talked about obesity last week. Don't forget, we said several things about obesity. So if you didn't join last week's show, it's on Facebook. You can just go and look for the video and learn more for yourself, your family, your friends, and your loved one. We said obesity is accumulation of excess fat within our body, accumulation of excess fat within our system. And if there is accumulation of fat, it will lead to weight gain. So if there is weight gain, how can weight gain also predispose us to heart diseases and diseases of the blood vessel? How can they do that? If there is weight gain means that there is excess accumulation of fat. And if there is excess accumulation of fat, we mentioned that the function of the heart is to regulate blood flow in the system. So if we are talking about heart diseases, and you as an individual, you've gained excess weight, it means that your blood has to be more. It means that the blood has to increase for you to be able to supply oxygen and nutrients to the heart, or to supply oxygen and nutrients to the other system in your body. And if there is increased blood volume within your system because of weight gain, it will result to elevated blood pressure within your system. If there is increased blood within your system, this will result to increased blood volume, and this increased blood volume will also result to hypertension. Not just that, because there is increased blood within the system more than what is needed, it will put more pressure on the arteries of the wall, If the blood is so much, the heart is supposed to pump a particular liters, and it's pumping more than that. You are putting much pressure on the arteries of the wall, and these arteries too, if you are putting much pressure on it, it can lead to stroke, it can lead to heart attack, it can lead to heart failures. That is what we are talking about. So talking about age, the vessels becoming stiff, and there will be reduced blood flow. That is one of the factors that can predispose us as individual to cardiovascular diseases. And another one we just talked about right now is obesity, excess fat accumulation in the body, and this excess fat will lead to weight gain. And if there is much weight gain, there will be increased blood volume within the system, and this increased blood volume also leads to hypertension. It leads to putting much pressure on the arteries of the wall, and all of this can lead to stroke, heart diseases, heart failure, heart attack, and many more. Now let's talk about genetics. Talking about genetics, I remember last week's video talking about obesity. We still talk about genetics, where we say that it runs in the system. So let's say there is a family where most of them have heart problems, most of them experience heart problems. So if you are a family, you come from a family that these cardiovascular diseases run through the family, there is a very high probability that you as an individual too will have cardiovascular diseases, because it's running through the system, it's running through the blood. Your father has it, the probability of you having it is also very high. your mother has it, the probability of you also having it is very high. But then it shouldn't end there. You as an individual, what are you doing to prevent this? You have to change your diet, the diet routine. You don't say that because it's in the family, it's something natural, I'm fine with it. No, you have to change your exercising routine. If your family does not engage in exercise, then you should engage in exercise. If they are taking caloric food, fatty food that will help them to gain extra weight, and this extra weight will still come back to health diseases, you as an individual shouldn't do that. You have to change those routines, those lifestyles, so that it will help you as an individual.